Okay, guys, I wanted to make a quick video about new construction, just trying to highlight the fact that this is simpler than you think. A lot of the feedback I get from friends or just from posting on social media, people seem to think this is really complex and it's just not. It doesn't have to be. And so I'm going to walk through the pieces and parts that you have to put together to do this and show how simple it really is. You don't have to be the expert on everything. You just have to be the orchestrator and set things up properly. So, what do you need? Well, you need the land, of course. You need the plans for what you're going to build on the land. You need the contractor, the motivated contractor that wants to work with you, the loan to finance it, and then ultimately the disposition strategy that fits the market and your goals, whether that's building to keep or just building to sell. And we're going to talk through each one at a high level. And so we'll start with land. Now, of course, we're going in order here, but this stuff is being done simultaneously. Okay. So if you haven't watched my video, Failed Subdivisions, the Archetype of Opportunity, watch that because I go very in depth on this. But the point I want to make, again, is you want to find somewhere that has finished lots that are shovel ready, where you don't have to do any entitlement work, and these places aren't unique. I'm going to show you an example here. And you've probably seen this before if you've watched any of my videos, but this is Pueblo West in Colorado. This is one of my lots. Water, sewer, power are all right here. It's between houses. It's entitled for what I want to do it for. Do here. It's R3, so I can build a duplex or single family. Right, all that work is done. And much as the complexity that comes about with new construction is when you want to take raw land and get it to this point. So I would not start there. I would start with infill lots like this, and you can find examples of this all over the country. So this is not unique. A couple other things to consider. Uh, Watch that video and then go and find a market accordingly, but make sure that the lots are large enough for what you want to build. So, for example, in Pueblo, the city, there are lots from 100 years ago. The subdividing was done 100 years ago, and they're very, very small, and they won't fit anything today, given the setbacks and square footage requirements. And so they're a bit of an anachronism that are just sitting there. Okay, so don't assume, oh, lots are this size. That means they must be big enough to fit a house. Why would someone have subdivided them this small if you couldn't? Well, happens all the time. And there's usually historical reasons for it or laws having changed since they were subdivided. So watch out for that. But all that to say, pick a market where you can buy lots like this. Very simple, shovel ready lots. Okay, so that's step number one. From there, you need a plan that not only fits on the lot, but fits the market, fits what your contractor can build, fits the demand. And so, what I've been doing endlessly are these simple single family homes. So, 3 bed, 2 bath, 2 car garage, ranch, 1,500-ish square foot. And I like this product because we can build it and be the cheapest new construction on the market. It fits the largest demographics buying here, which would be first-time millennial home buyers and downsizing boomers. And it's really, really easy. I think the most clear illustration of how simple new construction is comes about when you actually watch this go up. You pour a foundation, you put up the wood, you have the subs do the mechanical infrastructure, you seal it up with some drywall and insulation, and then you put in the finishes. I mean, it's very, very simple. I'm oversimplifying, but really not by that much. And so, regardless, you need to pick a plan that fits the lot and fits the demand in that market. And depending on where you are, whether you need or who you need to do this for you will vary. In this market, it's a bit backwards. And so to do this, right, the actual house itself, you don't need a license. I could draw this. So I had a designer do this, and then I need an engineer for the foundation, which is what this is, right? The engineer looks at the soil. That's what this is. Her talking through the soil and then creating a foundation plan accordingly. You also need in this market an engineer for the trusses of the building, right? For the roof, but the truss company has that in-house, so I don't have to go contract for that. And what else you might need will vary from place to place. It's very simple here, but again, this is something your contractor can tell you. So I don't need to go into this at length, but it's very simple. This illustrates what I was saying about houses fitting on the lot, right? So this is the plot plan that shows how this building fits on the lot given the setbacks and size, right? There's setbacks where they're not just going to let you build a house that's exactly the same size as the lot and go up to the lot lines, right? There are setbacks. You can't build 25 foot from the front. Oh, whoops, right there. And then I think it's 5 foot and 5 foot on each side, 15 total, and then 25 from the back as well. So again, your contractor and architect can help you with this. You don't have to know all this ahead of time. You just have to find the right people. And so to that end, the contractor is what I want to talk about next, which is so simple, or so important, excuse me. A lot of contractors are not going to be the right people for you to work with because many of them just want to build for retail clients and make as much money as possible. Now, with that, there's pain in the butt, right? Building for the mom and pop that wants to build their dream home comes with complexity and headache and pain in the butt. I'll just leave it at that. So you can find contractors if you talk to enough who don't want to do that. And if they can build for an investor where it's kind of just pumping out a slightly more commoditized product and they don't have to worry about you wanting changes, or you can just establish everything ahead of time as far as paint colors and finishes, and then that's that. A lot of contractors will do that for just a fee, and then there's a margin there. And so here's an example. This is the single family I'm going to build. All in will be at about 260, right? And this product sells at 375, 380. So there's quite a margin here. Now, excuse me, not all in. This is missing the land cost, so it'll be about 280. But all that to say, go talk to a number of contractors in your market who are building the sort of product you want to build. See if they want to build for you. And if they want to, they will provide a detailed breakdown like this. And especially right now, it's August of 2024. A lot of contractors and a lot of markets aren't as busy anymore. And so they want work. So especially right now, there are more contractors that are amenable to doing this, and they should provide a detailed cost breakdown. Now, on your end, aside from that, I would highly recommend if you can find someone referred by people you know and trust, who has built the same sort of building, ideally the exact same building you want to build in that market, who's been there a while, who isn't new, and who's financially solvent, right? If they're telling you, oh, I'm going to need to call you from Home Depot for your credit card for every little thing, that's a bad sign, right? So screen your contractor, make sure they're experienced in that market, experienced with the government, they're used to dealing with and orchestrating the subcontractors, and that'll save you a lot of headache. And then they can point you in the direction for much of what we talked about. They can say, oh, here's my architect. Just tell him this is what we want for this lot, this plan, and I'll go get the permit, right? That's what my contractor does. It's a father-daughter pair. And I didn't even know this, but in Pueblo West, there were some updates as far as what's required for new construction. So, of course, her and her dad knew that. And they said, all right, here's my engineer, Ben. Tell him which lot you want to do, send him this plan, and then say it's for Leah and Earl. And what do you know? He goes and does everything. And I didn't have to be the expert because my contractor was, right? So, do this right, and it kind of solves everything else for you. Okay. So to summarize, because I rambled a little bit there, make sure they have experience in the market. They want to build for investors. They give you a detailed breakdown. They're financially solvent. And ideally, they've built the building or something very similar to what you want to build, right? If this is a single family builder and they have a commercial license and you're going to contract them to build, a 40 unit apartment, well, I would be careful there. They don't have experience doing that. So you've got the land, you've got the plans, you've got the contractor. Construction loans are simple. Call local banks, call loan brokers, call hard money lenders. It's a really simple spectrum. With hard money lenders, you're going to be able to get more of it financed, but it's going to be more expensive. With I use ABC Bank, a local bank. They'll be less expensive, but I'll have to put far more money down if I go that route. Getting more quotes from a number of different lenders, but some private investors as well. 8 to 12% interest right now, again, in 2024 plus 1 to 2.5 points is reasonable for a construction loan. If it's on the low end of that, you're going to have to bring the land plus 15 or 20% down. If it's on the high end of that, usually you'll just have to pay for the land. All right. And then dispo, really simple. Just look around your market. What's the demand? Do you want to build and keep a rental, or do you want to sell a spec home or a spec duplex, whatever it might be? That's easy enough. It's just looking at what the supply is, what the demand is, what isn't being met, what you're confident you can profit off of or effectively rent. And then that'll go back to what plan you build. So that's really it, guys. This isn't that complicated. You put these people and parts in place, and you can go do new construction. Another rule I've learned after doing this for years is always do one deal with new builders, with new partners. So I wanted to start with 3 or 4 with this contractor, but experience has taught me to know better. So they're finishing up one project very effectively right now, and then once they complete that on time, on budget, then I'll go do 3 or 4 with them. So hope that's helpful. Let me know in the comments.